Hey guys, Andy here. Welcome back to Elsewhere High, and I hope you enjoyed the introduction to Chapter 2. And I hope everyone had a nice Halloween. Today is Day of the Dead, and Happy Day of the Dead to everyone. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce the Spanish variation without looking at the words. But yeah, we're continuing Elsewhere High today. And right now we just started with Derek again. So, run! Sophie and Vincent stood frozen. Their muscles held their bones in a vice grip and locked them in place. They could hear Derek calling to them as he fled. Vincent? She moved her eyes, not her head, to study him. He was still. Vincent. Derek's footsteps were inaudible now. The monster howled. Vincent, we need to run. His chest heaved up and down and he raised his hand slightly. If we move quickly, we might startle it. Their mouths were stiff as they spoke and tears ran freely down Sophie's face. If we don't move quickly, it might kill us. The creature lifted its chest and slammed the asphalt with one of its stumped arms. Vincent? He reached his arm toward her and took a small step in her direction. With the jostle of his wrist, Sophie saw that he was beckoning her. Just grab my hand. They spoke nearly in a whisper now. Sophie looked to him and then to the creature, who didn't approach them but was hostile and fierce and acquiesced to his suggestion. She straightened her arm towards Vincent and edged his way. Her heart danced to a violent tune in her chest while on the surface of her skin a thick layer of sweat had formed. Soon, their fingertips touched. Vincent's skin was hot and sweaty, much like hers. At the touch, he opened his hand further and wrapped it around Sophie's. She could feel his heartbeat between his fingers. Okay. He lowered himself. On 3. Sophie eyed him nervously. Okay. She felt him press his index finger into her palm. A pause, and then his middle one. He's counting. With the press of his third finger, both of them lunged away from the creature and ran as quickly as they could. Even though their arms were flailing in a haphazardly frenzy, their hands remained clenched together. Behind them, they heard the wailing of the monster, and Sophie tried to gain enough breath to speak. Is it? Just run. The thought of being alone terrified both of them. Sophie followed Vincent to his room, and she tried to calm her breath. The two of them laid curled over the duvet on Vincent's bed and for a long stretch of time remained silent. It was Vincent who spoke first. Are you okay? Sophie's breath had yet to show. Slow. What do you think? I mean, you're not hurt, right? She didn't answer him, but instead slipped into her chaotic thoughts. What the hell was that thing? I don't know. What the hell is wrong with this place? She began to cry, and Vincent reached his hand out to hers. Her breaths were sharp and stuttered. We're fine though, it's okay, we'll figure it out or something. He fumbled through his words and let loose a deep exhale. Hey, listen. He put one of his hands on her cheek and waited for her eyes to open. Tell me something. Tell me something nice about back home. Tell him about the mailman, tell him about the porch. I guess the porch is nice. She wiped her face and gathered herself. Oh shit, I don't know. Back home, I live in a really big house, and we have one of those porches that wrap around your whole house. There's a word for it, but I forget it. Oh, I love those. Her breath slowed, but still skipped over the tears. And we have one of those porch swings, but it's one of the really old kinds. The house is super new. My parents built it, but they got this old wooden swing. They're all about how shit looks. They probably saw it on one of those stupid websites. Anyway, she laughed pathetically. Not much of a story. I just like the swing. That's it. Vincent tried to smile at her. Well, what did you like about it? It was just relaxing. I don't read much, but when I did it there. Or when I was pissed and just wanted something to do. Or when I was pissed or just wanted to do nothing. It was really versatile. Accommodating is the word I was thinking of. She shot him a harsh glance. Sorry. I can speak for myself. He softened his face. I'm sorry. It's fine, and what about you? What about me? Well, I gave you a starry spill the tea. He tried to regress into a calm laughter. I don't know, there's not much to tell. Then make something up. What? Well, that would be almost as stupid as saying that you don't have any stories from back home. I have stories, just none that I like to tell. So what, your family was broke? Your parents beat the shit out of you? Uncle touched you when you were little? Oh, he wishes. Right, so your childhood was shitty. I guess. I mean, that's the only reason you could have for not having a story to tell. Or that I just don't want to talk about it. You'd rather think about what's going on here. Vincent was annoyed at Sophie's intrusive advance, but he stopped and considered her alternative. The light hair on his arms rose, and he covered his face with his hands. His voice was low and flat. What the hell was that thing? She paused and thought. Should we tell anyone? Vincent's face remained covered. Sophie wondered if he was crying. Like who? I don't know, DuPont? Killian, maybe? And what? What's DuPont going to do when she finds out that we left campus? He was nearly yelling at her, and Sophie recoiled. Yeah, I didn't think of that. She balled up a fist. Shit. She reached to Vincent and uncovered his face. Maybe we could try to use her phones, call her parents or something. Vincent stared at her blankly. I know it hasn't really worked before, but we could try. Or we could just lay here. Sophie was silent for a moment and then gave him a worried look. And do nothing? Just lay here and rot. What the hell? Vincent's eyes were directed at Sophie, but they were empty and his gaze sat elsewhere. Maybe rot isn't the best word. He snapped out of his trance and sat up quickly, his arms and head draped low over his knees. With stiff movements, he took a deep breath and ran his hands down across his face. I'm gonna go outside. What? It's hot in here. So open the window. The window is open. The moonlight spilled in through the gaping window frame. Still, she spoke in a pleading tone rather than an instructive one. Sophie couldn't bear the thought of being alone. I just need to get out for a sec. Well, I'm staying in here. There's no way in hell I'm going back outside. I can't see where you are either. Just need some air. Let's go see Sophie inside. Alright. Vincent left the room looking heavy and slow. He had done his best to comfort her, but Sophie wondered if it might be him who needed comforting more. Sophie gripped the fabric beneath her as if she were begging it for protection. Wrap me up and keep me safe. The area around her face was damp and cool. She stroked her collected tears with the ball of her thumb. Wrap me up and keep me safe. She already missed Vincent. He was tall and broad and gave her attention and spoke softly to her. But sometimes he's an asshole. She let the thought linger. But sometimes I'm an asshole. Sophie sat up with a little charisma. Her feet draped over the edge of the bed and sat limply on the floor. Beside them was a t-shirt all crumpled and old, and she reached for it, balling it up in her hands. She brought it up to her face and buried it in the shirt. The tears returned to her eyes, and before they could fall, they were soaked up by the fabric. She could smell his body, and it excited her. I want him here. The muscles in her thighs ached and pulsed, and her heart raced. She crawled back up in the bed, clutching the shirt to her chest, and closed her eyes. She found rest in this place. Sophie jumped awake to the sound of someone in the hallway. Vincent had left the door open, and sounds poured in freely. Soon, Ash poked her head in. Oh, hey, sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Sophie's face was panicked and confused. What? I was just walking around, ran into Vincent, actually. What, where? Just outside. Are you good? Sophie tried to gather herself, lifted her ball cap, and brushed her hair back tightly before putting it back on. Yeah, sorry, I'm good, just woke up. Alright, well, have a good night. Wait. She reached her arm out to her, and Ash turned back. Geez, I'm not usually like this, but do you think you could stay until Vincent gets back? Ash smiled to her. For sure. It's not too late. I'm a night owl. I'll be fine. Plus, he won't be too long. Yeah? What's he doing out there? Just having a smoke. Sophie eyed her fiercely and then shook her head in frustration. Go freaking figure. What an asshole. Oh, sorry. No, it's not like I wouldn't be able to tell once he's back. Those things smell disgusting. I swear I'm gonna find us back and run them underwater or something. That's kinda psycho. I love it. Sophie looked at Ash once again, this time with a hint of worry in her eyes. You think so? Yeah, I love shit like that. No, I mean that it's psycho. Well, yeah, I mean, you aren't even his girlfriend. I mean, it would still be psycho if you were his girlfriend, but just maybe a little bit less. Sophie's gaze lingered, and Ash's mouth curled into a smile. Oh my god. Sophie looked away. Oh my god, you totally want to date him. Oh my god. Ash hurried into the room and sat next to Sophie on the bed. Dude, and you're holding his shirt. Oh my god, Sophie, when he comes back, you should totally have it on bare legs, you know? That would get his attention. Sophie threw the shirt at Ash and sneered at her. Oh, screw off. And as if I need to do something to get his attention, dude has been drooling over me since ground zero. True, so what? You gonna do the hard to get thing? Sophie squeezed the fabric beneath her once again and let out a deep breath. She offered no response. Ash fidgeted and looked away. Oh, sorry, We had a screwed up night. She coughed and fought her desire to tell Ash the events of the night. He was there, you know? He was just there. Ash looked at her knowingly, and for the first time her and Sophie's eyes met. I don't even know if I like him. Ash gave her a warm smile. So what, that's what this is for? She motioned around the room in a broad gesture. If you get to find out if you like him, I say go for it. And if he messes with your head, then we fuck him up. Sophie's eyes grew wide. Holy shit, I'm not really all for the revenge thing. Okay then, I'll do it. All I'm saying is you have nothing to lose. Maybe he does, but you don't. You're crazy. I have it in writing. She gave Sophie a sort of wink. Let me know what happens, though. Yeah, for sure. I should head out before Vince is back. Good night, Ash. Thanks for talking. And once again, she found herself lost in her thoughts and stresses. Yeah? Just be safe, right? Yeah, for sure. She picked herself up from the bed and walked out of Vincent's room, leaving the door ajar just as she had found it. Sophie listened carefully as her footsteps disappeared and were soon replaced by another set. She propped her shoulder up and then watched Vincent, sullen and low. Listen. She had intended on being harsh, but re-evaluated her tone at the sight of Vincent's somber posture as he re-entered his room. I just thought to ask. She said she saw you smoking. Look, I know we're scared out of our minds, but when you say you're going to do something, you should do it. Vincent hardly acknowledged her, just sat on his chair and began to take his shoes off. I mean, if you say you're going to quit, you should quit. It's not cool and they make you stink. Is it right if I get changed? Sophie, now sitting up, was not as enraged by his interruption as she had expected him to be. She rolled her shoulders casually and nodded, unaffected, trying to mask the sudden rush of blood that gathered in her cheeks. That's fine. Vincent stood and undid the top buttons of his shirt, and once it was loose enough, instead of continuing, he simply lifted it above his head and let it fall to the floor. Sophie wasn't sure where to look. And you should pick up your clothes once in a while. I just usually get distracted. Vincent reached his waist and undid his pants, pulling them off with his thoughts. Whoa! He fumbled around on the floor, looking for some article of clothing. Sophie studied him as he did. Bent over, he revealed his chiseled shoulders that led into the deep pockets of his collarbone. His arms were lean and smooth, and she watched as his triceps balled up and pulled out his skin each time he bent his arms. Vincent's back was long and was guided by a spine that made a prominent trench down the middle that bent and bulged with his movements. At the base had a small waist, and in the middle 2 highlight dimples that lead to... Where the hell are they? Guess I'm wearing my jeans. He slipped his pants on, snaked around Sophie, and laid his body across his bed. Sophie still sat on the edge, her desires drumming clearly in her mind, but not the courage to match. Are you gonna sleep here? He asked calmly and politely. His usual voice with the biting arrogance was gone, at least for now. I think so. Without much thought, she picked her feet up and curled her body around to his, placing her head at his waist. She rested her hands on his sides, then slid them around to his back and embraced him tightly. His skin was taut and hugged his body warmly. God damn it, I hate choices. Can I just, never do anything like this ever again? Let's kiss him. Let's see what happens. Sophie stretched her neck upwards and softly kissed Vince above the waistline of his pants. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. Her nose and lips pressed against his skin, and she could feel his body tense as he placed a hand on top of her bald hair. She lifted her body, kissed his stomach, then his chest, then rolled her head upwards to meet his gaze, and let out something of a nervous laugh. She steadied his lips and leaned forward, eyes closed, their lips meet gracefully. They're soft. Her heart raced in her chest as Vincent placed his hand at her waist. Her first instinct was to swat him away, but he didn't wander or grab. His palm sat there, warm and comforting, and she pulled her face away from his slowly, letting their bottom lips peel apart gradually. His eyes smiled at her and she looked away, blushing. That was nice. Yeah. She fell back into his lap. Oh my god. I'm sorry. No, the pants are they're loose. He waved the fabric at the edge of his pants to illustrate his point. No, it's my fault. She turned away from him. Ah, shit. He threw his body off the bed and quickly closed the tinted window. The darkness was sharp and brutal. Vincent. No, listen. She felt him scurry back onto the bed and roll his body over to face the wall. I'm not trying anything, just... He reached his arm out to her and guided her hand to his body. Lay down. Sophie's eyes still fed her nothing. Her voice was high and worried. What? Hold me. Her heart nearly stopped. His body With a faint sense of confidence, Sophie slid her body onto its side and used her grip on him to pull herself close. Her hands skated around his body and she rested her chin in the neck of his shoulder. A deep sigh escaped her. She couldn't find the right words. You're beautiful. He let the words sit. Sophie had heard them before from him, but the way they sounded this time made her think that perhaps she had never listened. Vincent. He turned his shoulder bent towards her. We can be together. If you want. Instead of offering a response, Vincent gripped Sophie's hand delicately and guided it across and around his body, pulling her close. He led it to his mouth and kissed her lightly. She could feel him smiling. Let's try to get some sleep, Soph. Maybe you can check on Derek in the morning. She nodded in the bed of his shoulder. Okay. Good night, babe. Ugh, I hate babe. Her throat was choked and bald. She nodded once again. It got super gay. Poor Derek, he's all alone in his room. And that is it for this installment. I will continue this at the next episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this series. I'm very interested in to know what the hell is going on at this damn school. Bye for now. Bye for now.